Well guys, the GT500 is finally back. So if you're new to the channel, this is the other car. Truck's not really the primary, wasn't supposed to be the primary thing on the channel, but it seems to have been that way. But this is my 2007 GT500, and pretty much it's been in North Carolina for a while now. Dropped it off about 2 months back. Last thing I did was the drag racing trip, but it's here now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a cold start, turn it around. I wanna get it in the garage facing forward so I can kind of clean up the engine bay and stuff. It's been outside pretty much its entire ownership that I've owned it, which is past 3 years now. And it finally has a garage to live in, so it's time to go ahead and spruce some stuff up and really make it look like, you know, good looking show car, because I want this thing to look nice. I do want to talk about some future plans that I have for this car in this video, and then kind of go over kind of where it's at and what's going on with it. There are a couple issues that have come up, and just kind of go, you know, talk about the car a little bit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Turn it off, pop the hood, and get working on some stuff. This is my 2007 GT500. It has a VMP Gen 2 supercharger on it, and it makes just a little over 700 to the wheel. Pretty much supercharger, running about 17 pounds on the top end. I run an octane booster with it if you're curious. The other pulley makes about 15 pounds, and that's just on 93. And the car's been absolutely phenomenal. I have not had really any major issues with it. I did a little bit of rear end work, just because the power it is making, it all stemmed mainly from me having the wrong type of diff fluid in it, so it kind of cascaded into the whole thing. While I was back there, I did a bunch of upgrades to it. So that's really the only thing that I've had to do to this car to get it to where it is. Pretty much just put a drag pack on it. I bought it mostly as you see here, and went to drag strip. Finally, after about a year and a half, just because only maybe about 15 or 20 drag runs, finally got it into the 10s, which in all honesty is my goal. That was my goal for this car. I hit it now, so I'm not really sure what to do next. I mean, there's always go faster, but like, I don't know. So for right now, I really want to make this just a nicer, I guess, driver experience. So what I mean by that is I kind of ran into the issue of I went a little bit, not even like too much race car, but it's kind of like jumped just a hair further than I was trying to. I've been back and forth a lot on where I want to go with this car. At first I wanted to drag car, right? Who doesn't? You start getting a taste for speed. And then I've been doing a lot of thinking about it recently, and I just don't think this is the car for that. I would like to add maybe a little more power, but I don't think that's going to be the route with this car. I do plan on building the motor just for longevity's sake. I like the power it's at right now, at about 730-ish maybe, with a retune and, you know, making sure everything's proper. I think it'll be pretty easily solid 750 car once I do what I want to get done to it. Maybe even 800, we'll see. But the immediate plan for right now is I got to get a couple things ironed out. So first issue, this is the first actual issue, is the clutch. I'm pretty confident is starting to go out. It has a McLeod RXT. I don't know if it's an RXT 1200 or just the RXT. They have slightly different ratings in there. 1200 obviously is meant for 1200 horsepower, at least that's the way I understand it. Could be wrong on that. But I've noticed there's a couple issues. So first, when it's in gear and you go ahead and depress the clutch all the way, or out of gear, neutral, and try to put it in, it always feels like it's hit a wall. And my buddy pointed out to me that when put it in gear, that it tried to roll forward just a little bit, will hit that wall. And I've also noticed that on the 1-2 shift, really any shift, it always feels like there's a little bit of wall in there. And well, let me just show you a couple other things going on. All right, so I just want to show you real quick, this is after I filmed the video, but I want to show you that little issue with the clutch I was talking about. So still sounds pretty damn good. So check it out, right? Clutch foot all the way down, not touching the gas. We're gonna go put it in reverse. So I'm not gonna put it in reverse. All I'm doing, just over and touching it, right? That's all I'm doing. It's not even actually in gear like that. So you can see we're not moving. Try it first. Oh, I have the e-brake on. Duh. So e-brake off now. reverse. I'm just gonna touch it forward now. I don't know if you see that, we're totally moving. And then forward and first. Yeah, so like it doesn't do it forever, and then in gear, doesn't do it. In reverse, yeah, like definitely not supposed to do that. So all I'm literally doing is just barely touching it or barely touching it, and then that's actually in gear. So yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm pretty sure I'm having some kind of a clutch issue going on right now. Yeah, I just want to quickly run down, quite confident that I'm having some kind of a, I think it's a clutch shim issue, to be honest. So we're gonna go ahead and get that sorted out. Hopefully eventually. Car's still fine to drive. It's probably been doing this for, who knows, as far along as I've owned it, a couple of years probably. But yeah, so that probably is not aiding in my quick shifts and why I'm hitting a wall. Pretty much hitting a wall when I go into first. It feels like I hit, like this is smooth as hell. First, second, smooth, no problem. When the car's on, it feels like I hit a little wall first and then it goes in. Same thing with into second, little wall first, and then it goes in. Even while drag racing, you can see it in some of the videos. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, where I think that'll really help out with my getting a positive 1-2 shift down. Once we get in the car, one of the things that bothers me immensely is it has a Barton short throw in it, which is an awesome shifter from what I understand. But see this? That's all shifter slop right there. And I'm very confident that's having issues. Yeah, but like car off, rolls into gear like no problem. Car on, it wants to run into a wall. It like stops there and then goes the rest of the way in. And it could be the second gear synchro, but I'm pretty sure this alignment issue isn't helping. And I think the clutch is starting to, it wasn't shimmed properly. You're not supposed to have to shim the RXT, but I don't think it was. So even in gear, like shifter slop, you know, it's just reverse shifter slop. So in general, it does feel good. Shifter slop, no so good. So I plan to address some of this. I need to pull the trans out. I want to get the clutch sent off to McLeod, rebuilt. That's about 600 bucks, I believe, for a rebuild, as opposed to like 1,200 for a new kit. So send the flywheel in, all of it, get it pretty much resurfaced, and the actual clutch disc redone. And then new slave cylinder, all the things that go along, new slave, all the things that go along with the clutch job. So that should take care of the clutch issues. Make sure we measure everything, get it shimmed up in there properly so it has good disengagement and everything. This clutch has been in here, from my understanding, at least since 2014, maybe I think 2014 is when it was put in by the original owner. Tons of passes on it, and then me beating on it for the past couple of years has not helped anything. So clutch. And then what else? So kind of the big thing there. The other thing I don't like, the rear end has a really loud, sharp, whiny noise. It's not a nice whiny noise like the blower. It's like just a high pitch gear whine, and I've been trying to figure out what the cause of that is for the longest time. I thought rebuilding the diff and putting a different set of, or a new differential itself in there was going to help. I thought that was the main culprit. So it turns out the actual issue is it was rebuilt with a crush washer, which by Ford spec is what you're supposed to do, but drag racing the car, every time you launch, it puts enough stress on it to actually crush that washer just a little bit, and it eventually throws it out of spec and you start getting gear whine. So in order to fix that, I need to go back in there and pull it out, figure out what proper spec is, either get a new crush washer, crush it on, which I think is probably the best way, to the proper, you know, spec or whatever. Pull it off, you get a shim kit, and then measure it and make the shims for the crush washer was washed. Something along those lines is kind of how I'm gonna do it. I haven't looked into it a ton recently, but that's kind of the plan. So that should take care of the whiny noise, which is, again, I don't want this to be a race car, I want it to be a nice street car. So not being able to hear your passenger because the rear end on the highway speed is very annoying. Next thing I want to do, exhaust. So I haven't figured out exhaust. Let me know in your comments down below. End goal, I 100% am going to cam this car. I want to do it. It's just a matter of time right now, and really time and money, and when I want to put it down for a couple months where I can do motor and cams. So let me know what you guys think about that. But my two options for exhaust: one, go for a quieter exhaust. Go like a Barola Touring, or I think it's Barola Touring is how you say it. Something like that, so it's real quiet and you kind of hear it a little bit when you get on it, but nothing crazy, a little burble. And then I do want to get a welder, learn how to weld, and do a cutout setup, maybe a diverter, so I could have open headers if I wanted to, and there you got all the chop, you get racetrack noises, do whatever you want, or you can close it and it's nice and quiet. So that's my first thought. The other thought would be to do something like a Corsa Sport. I don't really want to do extremes because I have the Outlaws on it right now, and honestly they're just too loud. I don't like how loud it is all the time. It sounds great at wide open throttle, and it sounds great at idle. Part throttle though, while you're driving around on the highway, is absolutely awful. And I understand the courses are better, blah, blah, blah. Still, the overall noise level is just too much. I want to be able to get on it and not alert the freaking county that I'm on it. So that's kind of the goal with the exhaust there. Honestly, other than that, I don't really have too much else. So my thoughts are way down the road. If I want to go full race car, get maybe a V6 base chassis or something like that, and then build that one into an actual race car. But I want to keep the Shelby back here clean because I love this car for what it is. And it's honestly too expensive of an investment to go cage it and just bring down the value down, down, down. As it goes faster, value goes down because it sucks to drive. That's basically what it comes down to. So that's pretty much the whole plan with the car and kind of where I'm at, you know, feeling it right now. Again, things are subject to change, but kind of wanted to give you guys an update. So for right now, I want to go ahead and kind of clean it up. It's been outside, like I said, for the past year almost straight, and I really have never cleaned the engine bay or anything like that. So I want to clean up, you know, just everything. I got little issues going on, just like the trim is just kind of like gross up in here. I need to take it off, sand it, and repaint it. I did repaint my hood vents because they were getting really nasty looking, and I think they came out great. I went ahead and used trim paint, and it's nice, like it looks brand new basically, as opposed to kind of that plastic that's getting all faded down there. So I'm probably gonna do the same thing, pull off all the trim pieces, sand them up, paint them, and you know, just kind of make it look like a nice car. Keeping the drag pack, I think having a 10-second car is pretty cool. And once we get the clutch figured out, mainly the clutch, probably get it retuned. I haven't figured out if I want to go E85 and do a fuel system or not yet. That's up in the air. But I kind of want to see, I'm definitely going to take it back to the track, and I want to see how it does with the modifications, in all honesty. I think getting the clutch issue figured out will really help out the short track times. The launch and then the 1-2 shift especially are really going to help out. Maybe we can, if it feels smooth enough, and I want to mess with the watt box settings and get those to a time setting, because I have noticed where I'm shifting faster than the clutch like fully comes out, if that makes sense. And the way it's set up now in auto mode is it won't give power back until the clutch is fully released all the way at the top. As soon as the clutch switch reads, hey, I'm up, and then power comes back on the car. So I've heard that if you start messing with those settings a little bit, you can get it to shift a little bit faster and, you know, get power back on when you need it. So that's kind of, once again, just kind of going over everything with the car. Now that it's back, I have a lot of plans. First plan though, I got to clean up the garage. It's a wreck from the Jeep project and just moving still and stuff in general. So that's going to kind of do it for today's video. I just wanted to give you guys a good update on the car. You haven't seen it in a while. I really haven't done much with it besides the Rockingham drag trip. And we'll see if we can do, you know, get some more content out with it. So once again, thanks for watching, guys. And I really do like this car, so I want it to be a best version of itself. Something I've also been kicking around. I don't know if I'm gonna do this yet. If I do decide to go and get a second car for an actual drag car and, you know, keep this one as it is, I have been kicking around doing a different seat setup, just something a little more comfortable. The RX or RXX, something like that. Corbeau seats that are in it right now are great for me, but if you're slightly heavier set, or you know, you don't really want to sit in a race seat that's slammed to the ground, shorter person, I'm like 6'6", so it works out great for me. But for someone that's not 6'6", trying to see out of the passenger window is not the most enjoyable experience. So I might go ahead and put more of a factory style seat in there and then do something. TMI Products makes a overlay that looks great. Weiner54 on Instagram has them in his car, and they look phenomenal, black with red stripes. So yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. So once again, thanks for watching. That's kind of going to do it for this video, but the car's finally back. I towed it up with the truck and U-Haul trailer because the truck transmission hasn't showed up yet. So I just wanted to get it back, and now that it's here, very happy about it. So like I was saying, without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy, and leave your comments down below what you want to see done to the car. But that's kind of where it's at right now. Just kind of keeping it a clean example of a GT500 and with some fun mods on it. That's kind of what I'm after.